Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Sunday Live. It is so fantastic to be back. How is everybody doing today? Today for the live stream, I thought it would be a good idea to focus a bit on contact. And I was able to tune in and get some messages about contact right before this session. But I also want to share some incredible footage with you guys that I've been able to capture. I know that I do have some new people here to the channel. I've shared a lot of my footage before, but contact is already happening, you guys. These beings are already here. We're just kind of waiting for the rest of the world to catch up, right? And there's been a lot going on. I just posted a video yesterday or the day before yesterday because the White House made an announcement about how they were going to move to disclose extraterrestrial life. And, well, let me read it exactly. Based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomenon, and unidentified flying objects, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. So that's creating waves right now. What a perfect time. I was already planning on doing this live stream to bring it back to the heart center and share some really uplifting contact stories and some really interesting contact stories, how this is already happening here and now. These beings are already here. We probably have ships all over the sky. Actually, this morning, whenever I woke up, I went outside to drink some coffee, and I looked up and I saw a massive cloud that was in the shape of the Enterprise from Star Trek. It looked just like the Enterprise, that spaceship. And I'm like, oh, hello. So oftentimes they can even cloak themselves as within clouds. But I believe that they're all over the place. So I wanted to tune into a little bit of the disclosure process and contact process. Now, I feel, well, what I heard this morning was we're entering into the final countdown, is what they said. And I was speaking to some Arcturians, Pleiadians, and Andromedans I felt the presence of this morning whenever I was tuning in, and even here right now, and inner earth beings. I kind of have a variety of different beings that I communicate with since my contact started back in 2020. And I was hearing, we're entering into the final countdown. All right. So I'll go ahead and read a little bit from my notes whenever I was tuning in this morning. Well, actually, last night I heard a telepathic message that we have drastic changes ahead and that mummies will be found. And in my previous video, I was talking about how I was contacted and they were showing me these giant remains in the Middle East. But we also have a bunch that have been covered up in the United States and all over the world. So, assuming they meant the giant mummies, these could be other types of mummies as well. But I heard drastic changes ahead. Mummies will be found. So we're getting peppered disclosure. A lot's happening right now. Like disclosure is speeding up really quickly. Just this year already. It's pretty crazy. We're barely into 2026. And we have all of these things coming out. As you guys know, humanity is getting a really big red pill right now. And a lot of these things that we've known for a long time are already coming out. So I was getting mummies will be found, I heard, drastic changes ahead. So that will be another peppering in of disclosure of our true history of who we are, what's been going on our planet. Okay, now switching over to this morning, my contact session. Actually, this is still a little bit from last night. Who will be the first to make contact? I asked. And I heard beings on your own planet was what I heard. And I said, will this include inner earth beings? Yes. A lot of you guys probably know about Mount Shasta. I go there every summer, and I'm hosting a retreat there this summer in July, where there is a known civilization, inner Earth civilization under Mount Shasta, with the survivors and descendants from Lemuria and Atlantis live in that city. There's tons of other inner Earth beings, and I'll show you guys some pictures here in a minute after I get through the messages. But a lot of them, they look very similar to us. I've had contact with them. One contact that I communicate with pretty frequently, her name is Kay, and she's an inner Earth being, and she has long blonde hair. I'll show you guys a photographic depiction of her, and so she looks very human, but more tall, more slender, very pretty, fair skin. And I often see these inner Earth beings wearing white, like white dresses, white loose clothing. So inner Earth beings will be included with some of the first beings to make contact. I was also picking up on Pleiadians, Nordic beings, human-looking extraterrestrials. And that makes sense because they don't want to freak us out too bad. They want to introduce extraterrestrial life as easy as possible, right? So they'll introduce the more human-looking ones first. But I was getting a really big hit on the Arcturians, and the Arcturians look quite different. They have the bigger almond eyes. They have like bluish or purplish skin. They can have different shades colored of skin. Very tall. They have 3 long fingers. They look a bit different than us. But I was feeling a very heavy presence. I think they might introduce them a little bit later, but they were among some of the beings that will be introduced to us. Then I heard, we will introduce a number of races to you. I was also picking up on Alpha Centaurians, and Alpha Centaurus is one of the closest It is the closest star system to Earth, approximately 4.37 light years away. I think some of them do look pretty human looking or could blend in decently well. So Alpha Centauri system, it's the closest to Earth. That would make sense that they would also be among one of the earlier races to be introduced to us. There's a lot of shows that depict people going to did they put an ad in the middle of this? Yeah, there's been ads in the middle of lives lately. Sorry about that, guys. But that would make sense that they would be among one of the first races. And there's a lot of shows that depict that, actually, humans going to Alpha Centauri. So that's in a lot of space shows. That's a drip disclosure, right? Introducing us to the idea that there is life on Alpha Centauri. So maybe that'll be one of the first star systems that we find life. Find it. But I'm getting those as being one of the beings, and I'm also picking up on hybrids, hybridized beings. Of course, that looks similar to us. What will happen with disclosure/contact, I asked. I heard process. It will be a process that happens over years. So I don't want to sensationalize this and say that open contact is happening next year. Back in probably 2022 with my Andromedan contact, and I'll show you guys pictures after I get done with these messages, Talia, who is one of my main contacts, who started showing up in her UFO back in 2020 and contacting me. And I documented a lot of evidence from this, which I'll show you guys. I asked her back in, it was probably around 2021 or 2022, I asked her, when will we have like boots on the ground? When will you be boots on the ground with us in more open contact way? And she replied to me back then, so this is like 4 or 5 years ago, in the 2030s. But I think this year and the year following, we're going to get massive leaps in ET disclosure. And then we have to process that. And then slowly they'll be introduced, is what I'm picking up on. And also, they're kind of hesitant to give me too much information or exact dates on this, because what I'm picking up on, the timelines are shifting so much right now. And somebody actually just commented that on one of my videos, and I was like, I was literally getting the same thing. The timelines are shifting so much right now. Many different possibilities could play out. It really depends on us ultimately in the stage that we are in and how open and ready we are and our frequency, our level of consciousness. So I think there's a disclosure plan. There's multiple plans. There's contingency plans, depending on how we react, how we process. But ultimately, I feel, or what I was getting was a really big dose in disclosure, in disclosing ET life this year or next year, and then more of an open contact. And of course, there's many different levels to contact happening safely, I want to say 2030s, for more of an open contact and dialogue. But we'll see what happens. The timelines are shifting a lot. This is just what I'm getting right here and right now. So I asked, what will happen this year with disclosure? I saw a massive wave. This was this morning, me tuning in. So a massive wave. It wasn't like a huge, like tidal wave, but it was a pretty big size wave. And with that, I got the message that we're getting a good size wave of disclosure, pretty big one, disclosing ET life. And even with Trump's statement shared by the White House, saying that they are going to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life. They didn't say, they're already saying right there that alien and extraterrestrial life exists. They didn't say we're going to be releasing files to see if it exists. We're saying they said we're going to be releasing files on aliens. So they're already saying right there, basically, that it exists. This has been coming out for years already, and we don't need the government to tell us. But of course, for those who are quite asleep or who don't want this information or who don't care, it's being let out in pockets so that it's starting to draw more attention. This is going back to free will, which I explained in my last video too. Why some of these things, they were specifically talking about the Epstein files, why all of them weren't released all at once. You can watch that video if you want to hear more on that. But this also pertains to open contact. It would be an infringement on free will for all of this just to come out all at once. We have to want it. And a lot of people have not wanted it. A lot of people have been resisting it, or they're not open to it. So we have to want it. And so it's happening in stages, essentially. What do you want everyone to know about disclosure/contact? It is a process, free will, mass hysteria, etc. And Avi Loeb was just on, I wish I would have grabbed that clip, but he was just in an interview, I think on CBS News. Journey to Truth podcast shared it on their Instagram. We saw it while we were at the gym. We were like, oh my gosh, they're talking about it. I think it was on CBS. They interviewed Avi Loeb, and he said, what was his quote? So this is pertaining to the religious people, because that's been a bit of an obstacle, right? Because a lot of people still think that aliens are demons, and yes, there are positive and negative factions, of course. But a lot of people are super closed off to that, and they don't think that they exist. Let me find the quote real quick, because it was really good, and it was a big statement. And I saw this immediately as, okay, this is starting to get the world prepared and starting to address the religious factions. If you believe in God, God is not just the parent of one child, is what he said on the news. So he specifically went straight towards the religious people, which is good. That's part of the process. Okay, and a lot of people are saying that Bashar says that 2027 will be the year that the world will know ET are here. Okay, yeah, I was getting either this year, next year, but for open contact, I think it's going to take a little bit longer. And we'll see what happens. Like I said, timelines are shifting a lot. So we'll see what happens with that. Open contact by the year of 2027, I don't think so, but we'll see. We'll see. It depends on us. Okay, so I'm going to continue going down. I also don't want to sensationalize, because there's a lot of people who sensationalize, like contact is open contact tomorrow, open contact happening this year. Like, we have to be a bit realistic with this also, I think. If an alien walked up to you right now, how would you react to it? I know a lot of us are ready, but right now, we also have a lot that we are purging within us and within the collective. Our frequency has to raise. I know a lot of us are working hard on that, but we have to get rid of some of these very nefarious, corrupt things going on the planet, and we all have to do our shadow work, right? Because our frequency, the 3D density frequency of hate, of fear, it's not compatible with the new earth, obviously, and these higher vibrational beings. It hurts them. It would even hurt us, because it forces our shadows out. All of the baggage that we carry within us, all of the traumas that we carry within us, because it's not compatible. It forces it all out to be processed. So that's why this is a process. But then, as continuing on with my contact session this morning, they keep saying that they are already here. They kept saying they're already here, though. It's really just kind of waiting for a mass reveal. They were also showing me beings in stasis pods, star seeds. So you guys, people who are watching this, you're galactics. You're just undercover, right? But you have, many of us are probably in stasis pods, our original bodies, and our consciousness has projected itself onto this planet in our human avatar. So they were showing me that. I think they want everybody to remember that and really dive into remembering who we are. Then I heard telepathically, the Galactic Federation will not allow open contact until the Terrans are ready of a certain frequency. We must hit a certain level of frequency / consciousness. Weapons of mass destruction need to go. And then I was seeing Pleiadian forces moving in. I was seeing ships surrounding the planet. And it's almost like they have us kind of like blocked off while we're dealing with a lot internally right now. But I was seeing us being surrounded by ships. I asked if there was anything else that we should know. And I heard, remember. Remember. And I saw Talia, which is my extraterrestrial counterpart or a version of me from the future. Remember your mission. Remember who you are. You, everybody watching this, you are the boots on the ground. Remember the power that you have. Remember the power of you. So ultimately, I'm seeing massive waves in disclosure happening and more contact accelerating. It's happening on individual levels all over the place. More ships in the sky, more people having personal contact experiences, more people having contact through dreams, through meditation, seeing ships in the sky. Like, it's happening all over the place to certain people who are ready. And that's seeding that into the collective. That's raising your frequency, our frequency, whenever we have these experiences or have these revelations. And then that's rippling out. But yeah, I think we've got a lot of movement coming on ET disclosure this year and next year. Open contact, I think that will happen in stages. And what I was getting, it'll be a process that happens over years. Okay, so I also wanted to show you guys I want to share some stories with you guys, some interesting contact stories, and show you guys some footage. And if you guys are here right now, please hit the like button. Thanks, Tara. Yeah, a lot of people in the comments have been saying that they're seeing crafts in their dreams and in the sky. So that's one of the ways that contact starts. That is a form of contact. Those dreams are not just dreams. That's preparing us. And whatever you may think of Joe Rogan, I did a reel on him not too long ago where he shared a dream that he had that wasn't actually a dream. It was an actual contact experience, in my opinion, and through my experience, where he made contact face to face with these beings. It sounded like he was on a ship and he saw these beings who spoke with him telepathically. They looked human-like, but they had bigger heads and bigger eyes. And they didn't speak verbally, but they spoke to him telepathically. And he said he said that they basically said, like, get used to this. So that was a legit contact experience. And my star family and contacts call that training modules, these dreams. They're sharing a message with you. They're showing you something. And they are easing their way into contact. So a lot of people are having experiences like that more and more. Somebody asked, Talita asked, how can we remember who we are? That's a really good question. Meditation is a great way to do that. You could even do, so I've gotten a lot of benefit from doing this myself, meditating on that mantra, I am remembering who I truly am. I would say those mantras, I am remembering who I truly am. I would meditate on that and I would just repeat that. That's kind of reprogramming your cells because all the information that you need is already within you, right? The Akashic records within your DNA, it's within you and it's in the field. So by repeating mantras like that, I am remembering who I truly am. And right now they're motioning to the heart by going into your heart space, the portal of your heart, which is your interdimensional highway to the higher realms. That's how we're raising our frequency. We're becoming more heart-centered. That's your connection to the divine. Also, you can do that through, the third eye, crown. Also, these upper chakras help with your connection to the higher realms, but the heart really is the key. And just meditating on that mantra and repeating that, because essentially you're starting to reprogram yourself. I did a lot of mindset training, research on consciousness, how to reprogram your reality, which is what I was doing whenever I started being contacted and started seeing these UFOs. It's like I was already on that path. My mind was already opening, even though I had no idea extraterrestrial life existed whenever I started having these experiences. I was working very hard on just becoming the best version of myself. And I believe that opened me up to starting to have these revelations and starting to have contact experiences. And not just with extraterrestrials or our star family, but even with angels, with source, spirit guides. All of that started to open up. So reprogramming your reality, you are incredibly powerful. You can repeat those mantras. What's also helped me is doing meditation. So you can meditate on the Akashic records. I have a ton of meditations. If you go to my playlist on YouTube and go to the live activations tab, getting in that deep state, it helps you to access the quantum field, access deeper information within you. Akashic records meditation. You can do like a past life regression meditation. Things like that are really helpful. I actually had a really profound experience recently at the Star Knowledge Conference I spoke at. We did like a group. It was supposed to be a past life regression. And it was just in a group setting. I didn't go like under, but we got into a meditative state, which is once you get into that meditative deep state, you can listen to binaural beats if you'd like, or certain frequencies. You just get into that deep state, you'll be amazed at what you can access. You might have to practice at it for a bit. It was supposed to be a past life regression. And I was actually taken to, she had us walk through this portal, and on the other side of this portal was supposed to be a past lifetime. This is interesting. This has to do with contact and our mission. This might trigger something in you. Whenever I walked through this portal, suddenly I was on a spaceship. And I saw my human avatar laying on this table, on this spaceship, my human body. And I saw a being, an extraterrestrial to the left of me, standing to the left, who was from the Council of Five. And I'm like, oh, I thought I was supposed to be going to a past lifetime. And I'm looking at my body on a spaceship. And then I looked down to see who I was, and I had light blue skin. I got this through a 30-minute group meditation. I looked down, my skin was blue, and I realized I was Talia. Now I'll show you guys a picture of her. Some of you may already know. And I write a lot about this in my book, Contact, which is on Amazon. A lot of the details of my contact experiences. So this is Talia. This is the first being that contacted me. I've got tons of footage of her spaceship. Later, I would find that she's actually me from the future. And there was like a predetermined time where she, like a pre-incarnation soul contract in this earthly body, where Talia, this future aspect of me, who is from the Andromeda constellation, would start showing up in her spaceship to wake me up, to trigger an awakening. And that happened, my first experience was November 17th, 2020. And then after that first experience, I just started seeing UFOs everywhere. I didn't even know what a starseed was. I wasn't in the UFO community, any of that. So that was a predetermined time when my future self came to me in real time. Her spaceship was right there. There's time travel involved with this. A lot of us, we're beings from the future. Or we're interacting with beings from the future. It's really fascinating stuff. So that was a contracted time. She came back to spark my awakening. Some of the craft that you might be seeing or experiences that you might be having might be a version of you contacting you. It's really trippy stuff. It's quite fascinating. And so in that, let me make sure that you guys can see the picture okay. I think you can. Give me a thumbs up in the chat just to let me know that you guys can see this picture. To continue on with that kind of regression that I did, they said, okay, so I'm like, okay, I'm Talia, and there's my human avatar. That must have been either maybe she was picking me up and doing some checks on me, or maybe that was even before she decided to, or the version of me from the future decided to incarnate here. Maybe they were creating my human avatar. I don't know. I'll have to do some more meditation on that. I'd still have some questions about how that works. I've also heard a lot of us we're holographic projections being projected into this reality. This isn't our true form, but we're having this experience helping with the awakening. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but we were asked in this guided regression to, okay, now go to an important time in this life. And the first memory that came up was the night that I had my first UFO encounter. So I got to kind of see it through Talia's eyes, deciding to come in at that exact moment. And I saw it was a diamond-shaped craft. It was a very close encounter, and it just like shifted my whole paradigm. And then the second important moment of Talia's lifetime was a meeting with other galactics and human factions, signing a contract to collapse the Federal Reserve. It was in a meeting with galactics and humans on Earth. Pretty fascinating stuff. And then I got to see the ship that Talia was stationed on. It was white, massive. It was like Andromedan ship / Federation ship, but it was massive, like a city. And it was very white, very modern, very sleek, but it worked well with nature. And then I got to see my living quarters. It was just kind of a small work / living space. So I got all of these details from a regression is what I'm saying. And it was just like a regular group regression. So you guys can do this too if you look up, meditations and just practice with meditation. You'd be amazed at what type of information you can get. I'm going to make sure you guys can see that. Okay, cool. You guys can see. All right. I'll show you guys some other pictures. Here's another depiction of Talia. The first time I saw her, she was wearing a skin-tight silver uniform. And she appeared the first time I set the intention to make contact. I had another witness there with me. She appeared in this golden orb. And I got a bunch of photographs of it, but here's one. There's this golden sphere. Now, this could have been like a Merkaba craft. Merkaba, pyramid, upside down pyramid, and those spin. I'm not sure, or like a plasma. It kind of moved differently. Like it was like this plasma light craft. And she projected the image where I got to see onto the ship through visual telepathy. And I got to see her with her crew members standing behind her. And that was the first time that I saw her. That was in April 2021. And then after I saw her for the first time, then I felt such a strong connection with her, and I started hearing her telepathically in my head, and she started showing up all of the time and started teaching me and guiding me, which I share a lot of that information in my book in detail. And then later on down the road, I would find out that she didn't tell me until like 6 months later that she was actually me, which really blew my mind. Because like I said, I wasn't in the spiritual community. I wasn't in the UFO community. I wasn't in the starseed community. I was just winging this. Like, this just started happening to me. So there's another picture. Here's another depiction of her. Again, Andromedan. I also have connections with Pleiadians, Arcturians, Lyrans, other sorts of inner earth beings. We have many connections. We're big mutts. Here's a depiction of Pleiadian beings. Look very similar to human, typically just very beautiful, a bit bigger, taller, usually very fit and in shape. Here's a depiction of Kay. This is my inner earth contact. So some of the inner earth beings look like this, who will be among some of the first ones to make open contact with us. Yeah, they kept stressing the beings already here. There's so many. And there are beings here that you might just see them walking down the street, or they might just show up in random, strange ways. So I'm going to unshare my screen for a second while I share a story with you guys. So I've had experiences where I've seen aliens in real life. They blend in. A lot of them blend in here, okay? There's a lot of them walking among us already. I had an experience in Mount Shasta 2 summers ago. I was leading my first spiritual retreat out there in Mount Shasta. We had just gotten done doing a really potent meditation on the mountain. We had an incredible experience. caught amazing anomalies on camera. And afterwards, somehow the whole, like half the group ended up at Starbucks, in the Starbucks drive-thru. We found out that the power had gone out in the town the same time we were doing the meditation. It's like we shifted the timeline. We knocked the power out potentially. It was really powerful. But while we were in that drive-thru, there were some weird experiences. One of the guys who was at the window, he was very, very tall, just did not look normal at all. Just had an odd feel to him, and it was very big, very tall, very big, longer arms, bigger bones. I didn't see his face because I wasn't driving, but I saw his arms, and everybody separately and all the separate cars commented on him like, what was up with that guy? He was really strange. He was different. Before I even heard any of that, I was like, okay, that guy seems strange or whatever. And then we're driving around, leaving the drive-thru, and I look over at the building. And as I look over at the building and the address of the Starbucks, suddenly time slows down. It was weird. It almost was like a deja vu experience, but it wasn't. It was like time slowed down and like dilated. And I could see through the window, there were people sitting in the Starbucks, right? But then suddenly my perception shifted to where I like saw through the veil, and those weren't humans sitting in the Starbucks. They were all extraterrestrials. And I got to see it. And they had like this piercing, strong energy. It was strange. Time slowed down. I saw them. It was like the veil dissolved. I saw them in their true form. And, I kept driving past, but there was this weird time situation that happened with it. And I talked to, afterwards, I was telling everybody about it. I was like, that was the craziest thing. I've never experienced anything like that. It was like a glitch in the matrix. One of the retreat attendees, her name is Leah, she said she actually went into the Starbucks and at the same time while we were there in the drive-thru. And she said that the people in there were very, very odd. She said they acted weird. They were very strange. And I'm like, yeah, because they weren't human. They were aliens. There's an example of aliens being among us, okay? Sometimes you'll get to see them. Sometimes they will kind of unveil themselves for you. Oftentimes they look human or they blend in well with humans, but they might have very piercing eyes, very piercing, strong energy. And I'll share another experience with you. Last January, I was on my way to film with Ancient Aliens. Not the January that just passed, but the last year. And on the plane, I heard telepathically, there's an alien on the plane with you. And the whole time I felt like I was on like a mission. Like I felt so surrounded by galactics. It was also during the fires that happened. Like there was a lot going on. There was a big shift in power occurring last January. I heard there's an alien on the craft with you. It's like, okay, so I was sitting on the plane and I kept looking for this ET. I didn't end up seeing them. I thought, okay, it's time to get off. We're landing. I felt very protected and very like watched. Like I felt like I was definitely being watched and like guarded, protected while I was on my way out there to LA, which LA, is, there's a lot going on in LA, we'll say. So the plane lands and I'm getting up. So we're all going to go exit the plane. And I was kind of upset because I was like, I didn't see this extraterrestrial that I was told was going to be on the plane with me. Starting to come up to the part where you exit, I look up at the pilot. And it was the pilot. The pilot was the alien. He was very tall. He was a good-looking man. But the way that he looked at me, Like, we made eye contact, and it was a very long eye contact. You know, usually whenever you're getting off a plane, the pilot's like, yeah, you know, thanks for flying with us. Have a nice day. And they almost can't be bothered, but they're just like, you know, yeah. You know, they're just going through the motions like, yeah, thanks, thanks, thanks. No, this guy, like, he looked into my soul. And his eyes were piercing. His aura was piercing. And I heard, it's the pilot. I had a friend who was coming up right behind me. I didn't even say anything, but it, like, he made contact with me, like, telepathically, like, letting me know that it was him and he was watching over me. It was strange. I know. It's strange. And the person, my friend behind me, said, before I could even verbalize or say anything, as soon as we're getting off, he goes, oh my God, it was the pilot. The pilot was the alien. I was like, yes, exactly. I know. I'm so glad that you could see that too. Yeah, it was pretty fascinating. And then I have one more story to show you, and I'll show you guys some footage after that. Some evidence. This comes from a client. So I'm going to be very careful about what I say because I want to respect her privacy. But I just heard this recently. She, back before her awakening, this happened like 15 years ago or something, like 10 years ago. She had an experience where she saw this very beautiful woman. And they were in a public, this was in a public setting. She saw this very beautiful woman that immediately caught her attention. Tall, long, beautiful hair, looked like a model. And she was surrounded by these men who were also very beautiful. And they looked like they were kind of like guarding or protecting her. Like she had a whole entourage around her. She ended up somehow, they're in this very crowded space. Later on through the night, this woman ends up coming right next to her. And she's like, what is this woman talking to me for? Like this beautiful model looking woman. And she gave her a gift and she told her something that would happen to her in her future. Within the next year, that came to fruition. Something that she thought could never happen, happened. And so I tuned into this for her because she said it was so strange and other people witnessed this too. And she still has the object that this woman gave to her. She said it was the weirdest thing ever. So I tuned into it and asking, who was that woman? And I heard future self. Future self. So I believe immediately I knew that woman wasn't human. She said she kind of looked like Ivanka Trump. You know, they kind of, some of them look like kind of Pleiadian or Nordic, right? Just very beautiful, tall. So this was a non-human version of from the future that was coming. She encountered other people, witnessed this, gave her a message, gave her a gift, told her that something was going to happen to her, and it did within the next year. So these weird things can happen. And they're happening all around us still. It's pretty mind-boggling. They're here. There's no doubt about that. And some of them are us from the future. Okay, so now I'm going to share some footage with you guys. Some examples of how they are here. I've shown some of this before, but there are some new people to my channel. So I used to have basically a contract where I would set up my camera and the UFOs would appear for me. And you can see me down here. I set up the camera to take this time lapse. It's taking a bunch of photos back to back. I asked them to appear on camera. You can see me over here and I'm looking over and these two black triangles in what looks like a tear or a rip in space-time or a portal manifested in just one photo. So it blipped in and out because I was taking photos every second. It was only present in one photo. So it was only there for like a second and then disappeared. This is also going on to highlight that they can dip in and out of this reality. They can cloak and uncloak. So that's one of my examples. See me looking over there? Pretty mind-blowing. Again, it was only in one photo, so if it would have been anything else, you'd see it, you know, moving across the sky. Nope, it was just blipped in and out. Within a second or two, it was gone. Here is another example of me doing this, where I set up the camera to take a time lapse, so it's taking a photo every second. I went down to meditate. I set the intention to make contact. I asked them to appear. I could feel them. And this craft appears in the sky. And I was able to capture 3 photographs of it before it blips out. So I've got a closer up photo here. And you can see it's moving really fast. It almost has like tracers. And I don't know what this orange thing is. Looks very strange. You don't see that on a normal craft. It almost could be like a window, and there might even be a being standing right there. It kind of like morphed in and changed shape, and each photograph, it looks different. And these things are really fast, so it's hard to take photographs of them, and they don't always want to be photographed. I've had plenty of encounters where as soon as I go to pull out my phone, they disappear, or they say, please don't film us. But during this time period in my life, I was going out and filming them every day, because that was kind of a contract that we had to help accumulate some evidence and document some of these encounters. Every now and then I'll get footage of them still, but it's very strategic whenever they allow you to capture footage and whenever they appear. It's like with surgical precision. I want to show you guys how they showed up first. So I'll show you the 3 photos where it appeared. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. It might be kind of hard since I'm sharing my screen, but you can see me here. And here's the first photo where it begins to manifest. And it kind of just looks like a blob, like a hazy blob in the sky. So that was the first photograph that it appeared in. Okay, you can see it right there. Here's the second photograph where it had become more physically manifested. Okay, looks different. And then the next one. So you can see from here, there it is right there. And then the next photograph, it's right here. And the shape kind of changes again. It's just hovering there. And this was the last photograph that I was able to get of it. After that, it disappeared. It just vanished. Very strategic. And I had a MUFON investigator investigate that. He investigated the movement of it, all the raw unedited photographs, and he had some remote viewers look at it, and he noticed a very odd time anomaly where during that session, suddenly the date and time jumped, and there was a 7-year time difference just in the middle of these photographs. So there was a weird thing with time that happened during this encounter. He had some remote viewers look at it. I'll have to find that document, but they were basically, all 3 of them came up with a craft time travel being involved in like a portal. Really interesting stuff. And I want to also, I never showed this one. This is a new one for you guys. So I used to go to this specific park and I would make contact all the time. I'd ask them to show up. And in this, you can see a beautiful sky, right? And this is with my Nikon camera, D53 DSLR camera. And I would ask them to show up and I would film and capture all these crazy anomalies. So you can see the sky here. And in this photo, which is only taken a second apart, you can see the clouds barely move. There is a triangle shape. It's not fully materialized. It looks like it's partly cloaked. And it's a perfect triangle. And it was just in one photo. I used to experiment with this. Like I'm saying, they can be fast. They can just blip in and out or unveil themselves. Frequency, I'm hearing frequency. It's a shift in frequency. So they'll shift their frequency to be more visible to us in our spectrum. And then they'll raise their frequency back up and be invisible, essentially. Comparison, no triangle, triangle. Pretty fascinating. This was during my Sedona retreat. During a meditation, we have a golden orb that comes and spins right above the group and then disappears. It spins direct circles around our group and then disappears out. It's amazing what you can capture on camera, because the camera also pictures up more of our spectrum, more of the spectrum of light than what our eyes can see. So a lot of this is invisible to us. Comes in, circles. There's me right there. There it is above my head. And then goes back out. Pretty incredible. That was at Bell Rock. It kind of looks like multiple spheres. And I saw, whenever I tuned into it, I saw a whole council that came and visited us. We were doing a meditation focusing on anchoring in our highest timeline. This was during my Sedona retreat, the October before last, which I do have slots coming up open for my Sedona retreat in May. If anybody's interested, I still have slots for that. We're doing some wolf medicine. I'm renting out the wolf sanctuary, sky watch, cacao ceremony, meditations, Merkaba activations. So if you'd like to come join us in Sedona in May, I'll share a little bit more on that afterwards. But let me share just a few more things with you guys. Just two more videos and then we'll wrap it up. But this is happening already, you guys, and it's just gonna keep happening more and more and more. Okay, this is from a I used to do sky watches on my TikTok live. I used to do a sky watch each week where I would film with a night vision camera. So this is interesting. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the audio. It's my intentions out here, and you all can do the same to connect with any cosmic beings and ask for a sign. You can see that. You see that ship coming up? Also set the intention out that you are open to... Oh, what is that? You guys, did you just see that? And ask for a sign. And also set the intention out that you are open to... Oh, what is that? Also set the intention out that you are open to... Oh, what is that? So it's really interesting that they will, sometimes they'll appear as almost like translucent. Like I said, it's all about frequency. So they're kind of decreasing their frequency to be in our bandwidth of perception. But sometimes they'll only do it partially, where they're kind of partially phased in. So it's kind of a transparent ship that appears as I'm coaching people on how to initiate contact. And you can see the star behind it too. Pretty fascinating. So I'll just replay that one more time.
Oh, what is that?
Yeah. Pretty awesome. Okay, I will share one more video with you guys. This was taken in Sedona back in September. This September that just passed. That where a fleet appeared. I'll share just a few bits of this. This video went pretty viral. But I was contacted beforehand and they said, get your camera ready. Get your camera ready. Because we're going to show up. And then they showed up and they were doing, these lights were doing kind of all these different, some of them would power up, get big, and then go out. They would go in different directions. They would go in different formations. And this was at Bradshaw Ranch here in Sedona. So I'll share parts of this clip here.
Working with me whenever they said, get your camera ready. I was like, okay. There's 3 of them in formation. Holy. No, I just watched them all appear out of thin air.
Get them all on camera?
They're on camera right now.
Wow.
Yes. And we got another one coming up from the mountain. They said, get your camera ready. They were not lying. They were not lying. Wow.
Get them as they oh, there's one behind it now. Look. Oh, there's one coming.
Whoa, what's happening?
There's 2 down low.
They're here, you guys. They're here.
Wow.
So weird how it just keeps happening.
Yeah.
Like they just keep coming.
There's this freaking spaceport. There's a portal. UFO base, spaceport, portal, whatever you want to call it.
Sedona is a space
A
port.
triangle formation. And I watched them appear.
There's another one coming.
Oh my god, they said it. They said, get your camera ready.
They kept coming up, around. Some of them would appear out of nowhere, power up, power down. They'd cross each other. This was out in the middle of nowhere. And it's like they were dancing. I'm hearing portal, portal. There was a portal. Yeah, this was a very special night. They don't always show up like that. I do see people who are getting that footage a lot. Sarah UFO Girlie has been getting some really fantastic footage just like this pretty frequently.
I mean, they just keep
in
showing
Iowa.
up. Look.
See them crossing.
Look at that. Yeah, that one's like stopping and he's trying to catch up. But
They're crossing each other. They're kind of dancing around. They're doing different formations.
You guys had the nudge to come here tonight.
I know.
Look,
We
there's
got
3.
another triangle formation.
No, there's 4. Wow, look at that.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh, look at all those lights.
That is amazing.
Whoa!
Look without the night vision.
Whoa!
That is amazing.
Camera was on for that too.
He was very
They're
excited.
Oh my gosh!
They literally are.
Wow! Yeah, whenever.
This is on fast forward. And then they did that for about an hour. So here are long exposure photographs taken by Dr. Jürgen Hess, who was with us that night. So you can see it's a long exposure, so it's taking pictures over like a 5-second period or whatever, so you can see them moving. Cool. Yep, that was quite an impressive one. Okay, guys. So I think we can go ahead and start wrapping it up. And yeah, you guys can try this. Try this for yourself. Set your intention. Spend some time outside. Really spending time in nature. And just spending time with yourself without all of the external noise. You can have amazing things that happen. And not too long ago, I went out with my singing bowl out here in Sedona. It was a new singing bowl that I just got, and I was with 2 other people, Tyler from Journey to Truth podcast and our other friend, and I just sat there with no expectation. You just sat there doing the singing bowl, getting into like a high vibe state, and we started setting some intentions and just kind of doing some mantras and just really lifting the vibe and getting into our heart center. And it was a beautiful thing. We just did it for like 10-15 minutes. And after we got done, we were walking back to the car, and all of a sudden, 2 ships appeared out of nowhere, coming straight towards us. And they were big. They weren't like far out in the sky, like away, like some satellite. They were pretty close, and 2 of them side by side, and they were getting brighter. And a telepathy ensued, and it's like they were saying, "We love what you just did, and we are here." And what we did was we just got into the heart frequency. Just did something wholesome. Did something to lift our spirits. Focus on love, raising the vibe, and they appeared. We weren't expecting them to appear. That was a beautiful gift. As soon as I went to go grab my phone to try and film them, because it was quite impressive, they were pretty close, these 2 ships, they fade out. They immediately, as soon as I started grabbing my phone, they started to disappear. And they were like, "Nope, we don't want you filming us right now." That was just a gift for you. If you guys want to learn more about how to make contact, different tips and techniques, different types of beings, I do have a whole making contact guide, common races and starseed types, how to make contact guide at the end of my book. Methods for contact, goes really into detail into all of this different frequencies. I have tons of meditations and things like that. It's really a guide. But if you guys are interested in that, you can learn more through my book, Contact. The link is in the video description. But really, it's all about getting into the heart space and raising your frequency and seeding that. Right now, we're seeding that into the collective. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Please give this video a like, drop your comments, let me know your thoughts. And also, I do have an upcoming retreat in Sedona this May. If you would like to come join us, you can learn more about that in the video description. And I might have 1 slot left for Mount Shasta. I'm not sure, but it'll say it on the website if you want to learn more about that. I'm super excited. Those are very highly charged places where the veil is very, very thin. It's easy to have a contact experience. It's easy to see ships. Like weird stuff just happens all of the time. And it's also very high potent portals, vortex energies that can really help facilitate transformation, transcendental states, healing, all sorts of beautiful things. So I'll be your guide if you join me in Mount Shasta and or Sedona. All right, guys, I will see you next time.